Good afternoon, Oba Claude here. Some call me Oba Wisdom. Some just call me Oba. And I use the title Oba rather than Reverend or Pastor because I resented the being called king. That's Eurocentric. I don't have a kingdom. I don't have subjects. And the title Oba comes from my ancestry. Part of my ancestry is in the Benin, Nigeria area. And chiefs and elders, or kings as we would define it, were called Oba. And I prefer using something that is related to my ancestry, my culture, and king is certainly not it, at least not for me. At any rate, I'm trying this because people have asked me to, and this is about my journey mostly, and I use terms that are different, but they are terms that I use to redefine myself on my journey. Some say that when I woke up, I was always awake. I just wasn't aware. And my awareness came from living. When you live, you have experiences, and experiences will teach you a whole lot. I learned on this journey that I make no mistakes. I just had some unwise decisions, and some I learned from, some I didn't. The ones I didn't, I repeated. And I repeated them until I knocked my ass down. And while I was down, I had to look up and realize why I was down. So, I don't make mistakes. I've just made some very unwise decisions. This is about me, as I said, my journey. It's not about any particular faith path. It's not to convince anybody to change or to think like me. It's not to demonize anybody's religion or spiritual beliefs. It's just basically sharing who I am and how I think. And how I think is being shared simply because it was enlightening to me. Maybe it'll be enlightening to somebody else. I'm not here to debate anything. Discuss? Sure. Disagree? Sure. Being insulted? Hell no. And nobody will ever tell me how to feel, how to walk, and how I'm supposed to embrace my creator. And I use creator because that was part of my journey, finding new language that was comfortable for me. And creator just worked. And it worked because it didn't have the history of a vengeful and jealous God or divine source. It didn't have the history of the divine being he, him, and his, rather it being the manifestation of what I need at the time I need it. And I believe the Creator does exactly that, manifest as is needed in the time of the situation. That's my belief. And I will always speak from my belief, my journey. And so this is a test run to see how this goes, where I'm going with it. But I will answer one question that has been asked repeatedly. When I say I don't believe in the devil, I mean it. I don't believe there's an outside image or force that haunts me. I heard the message, remove the D. And when I removed the D, all I had was evil. So in evil, I had to be accountable and responsible for all of my negative actions, and thought processes. I had to own that. It wasn't somebody outside me with a pitchfork and horns urging me to do anything. It was my internal energy and my thought process. And I had to remove the D to face evil. And then when I turned evil around, it said live. So I have to live in that positive energy that I claim. That's where I live now, in that positive energy. And I don't believe that something outside of me triggers that. It's triggered from the inside. Outside forces, which are people and situations, may trigger my thought process, but I have to go within and process all of that. And my reaction, my responsibility. Then I looked at it again, so I am going to live. If I put that D back in place, it's past tense. I've lived. And I don't want to reach that without living. And living means for me to embrace the now, to embrace the positive energy that I claim is my accountability and responsibility, and do just that, live. And in owning that, I own the fact that my angels do not have white robes and halos and wings. My angels come in all forms. Some still here, some have moved on. They wear jeans and heels and designer clothes and overalls and everything else. They often cuss because that's what gets my attention. And I believe that the angel or angels that walk with me and govern me are the strength of those that have come before me and the strength of those that stand with me. That is my concept of angel. I live with it. I'm not going to change it. And it's not up for debate. But that's my journey. Your journey is yours. And you define your journey in what makes you comfortable, what brings you peace. I've learned that nothing will bring me peace that someone else tells me will bring me peace. I examine everything. I question everything. I even question my own decisions, and I own my own decisions. I own the decision, and I accept the outcome. That's just who I am. So with that being said, I'm going to wish you a very happy weekend, joyful weekend. I prefer joyful over happy simply because happy usually depends on a happening. Joy comes from the inside. So joy comes from the inside. My joy creates the happiness or the happening. And with that, enjoy your weekend.